delighted to be joined by European wrestling royalty. There, I said it. You heard me. Cesaro is in the house.
You heard him. Good morning.
How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very good.
I like that. Wrestling royalty.
Yeah, there you go. Do you know what I wanted to do before I actually got kicked off here? So obviously doing my research, you're a European guy. I've seen videos of you kicking a football around.
Yes.
As a kid, did you play properly?
Yes, of course.
What position? I need to know.
Oh man, I played everything. I played right back a lot. And I played, oh man, what was that called? Back when the, was it full stop in the back in middle?
You mean like the sweeper kind of thing?
Sweeper. Yeah. Okay. See, because like now everything kind of changed, right? I play a 4-4-2 now, back was a little bit different. I played sweeper, and then I had, I think, most success as central forward.
Ooh, center forward, yeah?
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm tall. I was just, just standing in the middle.
I was going to say, you was a big right back.
Yeah.
That seems like a waste.
Oh, just
get that man in the middle.
Away.
Get him in the mix-up.
Get him in the middle, right? Yeah. That's what happened.
But anyway, you found your true calling.
Yeah. It was not football, unfortunately, right?
Well, here we are though, and you're on maybe the best role we've seen in a long time. Cesaro is flying. A lot of people are delighted to see it. Before I get into anything else, man, I need to talk about it. You may have seen it on Twitter. I've been very excited about the prospect of Cesaro and Seth Rollins. He's in your grill right now. You've never had the one-on-one you should have had at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Is there a better scenario than yourself and Seth Rollins having time at WrestleMania?
I mean, I don't think so. Longest swing at WrestleMania 37. That sounds pretty good, right?
It does. It does.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that's on the bucket list, as they may say. But me and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Yeah. Oh yeah. Give me that.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of people clamoring to see, the pairing of you two at WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is often about, the show. It's the biggest show that there is, right? But there's also, to me, a luster to see Cesaro and Seth Rollins wrestle at WrestleMania. Yeah. So as far as sinking your teeth into what you could do at WrestleMania, is that about as ideal as it could be? Yeah, I know there's loads of great wrestlers, but still.
100%. I think it always comes down to that combination of wrestling and entertainment and everything. And I think, between me and Seth Rollins, I mean, there's plenty to go around, and we can do both. We can have an awesome spectacle and a great wrestling match and a fun story leading into it. And that whole prospect to me is just so exciting to have a build and a singles match. So, and then, like you said, have people excited for it and have a good wrestling match and fun, and just, it's the whole package, right? And it just it just gets me excited talking about it. So yes, I'm in the same boat as you.
Yes, good. Well, I'm glad.
Good.
And there's the other thing. I know there's been so much talk about, has he signed a new WWE contract? Has he not? And while I won't press you on such things, what I would say is when it comes to deciding your future or next steps, and when you come and sit down, what is it that really motivates you, right? Because is it at the point in your career where you're like, I'm comfortable where I am. I know where I am, or money maybe matters, or is there a kind of no, I want to drive on, and because you won't say this, but I will. There's a lot of us that feel like you deserve, to better opportunities than maybe your talent has warranted thus far. That's with a polite way of saying it.
Yeah.
So is there a case of well, hang on, before I do commit, maybe that's something I do want to address? And when you have those talks, so I guess what I'm asking is, what motivates you the most when deciding your future?
See, to me, it's always I want to get better. It's kind of you want to win the championship. You want to be the best you can be, and I feel like that's over every sport. There's a lot of people even with football, right? We just talked about that. There's oh yeah, no, he's happy to just collect the paycheck. I don't think there's many guys that are like that, and especially in WWE, I can't think of any in the locker room right now. There's everybody just wants to be as good as they can be and wants to push the ball forward and just roll with it and have that run and have that run into WrestleMania that they always dreamed of and wanted, and push the envelope and be as good as they can. And for me, that's 100% thing. That thing is you never want to be oh, I'm just happy to be here. Yes, I am happy to be here, but I'm not happy to be here, if that makes sense. I want to get that run. I want to make the people that believe in me proud. I wanna show them that, all the time that they supported me meant something, that I work hard every single day for them and for me to get better. So like that 100% goes into consideration, when deciding. So like, no, I'm never the guy that's just like, oh yeah, I would just sit back. And no, it's always pushing forward, getting better, and doing that. And I think that's what makes an exciting product, and that's what makes the best like watchable experience. And that's how I approach the decisions in my life, like what's best, what makes the most fun, what is like all the rest is like, there's enough people who are like, oh, I just do it for the money. Like, yeah, good for you. Nobody cares. Like, and nobody will about you in a couple of years. So let's just have fun and make it as good as possible.
Well, I mean, speaking of, it's far more than a watchable product. I think we could all agree that SmackDown has been on a tear for the past, certainly 6 to 8 months for sure.
Yes.
I want to talk about Daniel Bryan quick. Now, he's been quite open about, he's in production meetings and he lobbies for who he wants, all of this stuff. He's influential. You two had obviously great matches beginning this year. Clean as a whistle, Cesaro gets those victories. There's also suggestions that maybe Bryan was lobbying for you to be in different spots like the Gauntlet and stuff like that. Like, can you kind of speak to, working with him, but the support and stuff, and just what he's like to have around the SmackDown locker room?
I mean, Daniel Bryan is incredible to have around the locker room. And, I think I speak for everyone that says like he's one of those guys that you want to have around because he's so smart and he's so good. And again, like he's so, he makes everybody better because everybody has to step up their game. Right. And like, that's kind of what I would like to be, it's kind of, he's been around. I mean, I've known him forever. I've known him for almost 15, 16 years,
Yeah.
So like even before WWE, and his ability to create momentum is second to none. I mean, like, again, we're going into WrestleMania and like people were kind of like, oh, he's losing momentum. No, he didn't. He can turn it around like that. He just like switches, and then like now he's facing Roman Reigns as he should, at Fastlane. So it's incredible to have him around. And to me, having the support of somebody like Daniel Bryan, you don't just get overnight. You have to prove yourself night after night after night after night. So as this may take a while to get there, it's well worth the road.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well.
Is that even a saying? It's well worth the road. If not, I just make it. I just made it up.
I just took it. I just went, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
I got you. But that's the cool thing, right? Like you said, you've known him for so long, and it's like, even though, I don't know, sometimes you might just be going through, not like lost in the shuffle because you're doing tag team stuff and other things, but like Bryan is still there saying, no, like I want to work with Cesaro and he should be here and should be doing that. Like, I think obviously, just from my perspective, that's cool.
100%. That's awesome. Like, I like, there's no bigger compliment than people who be like, I want to have a feud or do something with him because he's always making the best out of every single situation, no matter what. Like, you can have 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 10 minutes or 30 minutes. I always try to make it as memorable as possible, no matter what. And I think that's the important part. And that's how you should approach life, right? You want to make it the best out of it, because otherwise it's just wasted time and you'll never get time back. A wise man, aka Tony Stark's dad, told him that once. Yes, I just watched Endgame. But like, that's how I feel like you should approach life, and that's how you should approach wrestling and your career. You want to make the best out of every single thing, and at the end of the day, that will add up, and somebody will be like, you know what, he's awesome. I want to do something with him, and then you just keep doing that.
Speaking of people saying, I want to do stuff with him, I was there at NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff. Now, That was very cool with you and Ilya Dragunov. I just want to know, man, was that something that you were like on the phone to Triple H saying, man, I need to get over there at some point? Or is it Triple H reached out to you? How did that work?
It was kind of, actually, William Regal was like, hey, there's this guy in the UK that I think you should wrestle, and I think you would like it. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I was like, yeah, I think I would. And, one thing led to another. And I wrestled Ilya, and he's awesome. I mean, he's an incredible talent, and he just had this amazing match with Walter as well, which was just hurt me watching. It was awesome, and it was very cool to be there. And for me, that was the other thing. Like I used to go to NXT, when it just started over here. It's just because it's just I love wrestling, and I'm not just saying that. And I feel people know that because like that's what I live and that's what I have lived, and they can clearly see it. And like I went to NXT and I went to whatever because it's fun, and like that NXT UK. It was such a cool experience to be there and to have that match and to see the locker room, just like being there for each other because it's NXT UK. It's their brand, it's their pride, it's their baby, and it was very, very cool to see how everybody approached it and what a team effort it was. So I was just very happy to be able to be part of it.
It's always Regal, isn't it? It's always Regal. He's always in someone's story.
He is. He's like the puppeteer or something.
He is. He really is. And NXT UK, for what that's worth, man, they've been on fire since they've returned. Satomura and Kaylee Ray the other week as well.
Oh, yeah. It's like the best kept secret kind of, right? I mean, like it's like NXT UK and like 205 Live too. It's just, there's so much good wrestling on that you can watch. I mean, and it's just getting more and more and more.
Yeah, and you saying, about your love of wrestling and that everyone can see it. I think in that promo on Talking Smack that I want to bring up quick, that was a window in that I felt like, like you said, a lot of us can feel it just watching you, but to have you articulate it in such a passionate way was a real kind of difference maker. That made a lot of people sit up and listen. To you, it probably just felt like you were speaking from the heart, right? But the reaction and stuff, I bet you were like, whoa.
It was really cool because it was one of those like, okay, you're doing this and this on the show. And, like then after it's like, oh, and you're on Talking Smack. I'm like, cool. Like, it was like, I always like that chance because it's a chance for me to talk. It's a chance for me to share my feelings and to just kind of talk off the cuff. And that's what I did. And it was just like I was like, I didn't have an idea of what I was going to say or didn't have like my notes or anything. I was just like, this is how I feel. And it was awesome because afterwards I was like, all right, okay, cool. Like, and then I, like you said, I left and I just got the responses and I'm like, oh, that's really cool because that's exactly how I felt at that moment, and the cool part is how many people responded and how many people I saw a bunch of like reactions of like people who don't really watch wrestling or not that close. And they were like, man, that was awesome. Like, it spoke to people in general. And that to me is, means a whole lot. And I just really appreciate anybody who took the time to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, you cut that promo as well, opposite Heyman. Is it a stretch to say that he's been helpful since he's been back on the blue brand?
To be fair, I haven't seen Heyman a lot since he was on the blue brand because he's always in Roman Reigns' locker room. So I just see him, say hello, and then he was on Talking Smack.
Yeah, well, that's it. No Heyman influence on the promo. That's all we needed to know.
Not on that one.
Do you know what's something else I want to touch on in terms of like, people's opinions of you and stuff? Down the years, we're talking like Ric Flair, Steve Austin. I remember Hogan giving you the endorsement after the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and stuff. You've had so much sort of praise and support from, titans basically in the industry. I guess that means a lot to you to a certain point, right? Like, I know you've got your own goals and ambitions, but like, how cool is it to know that you're revered by your peers? Austin has been one who's campaigned for you a lot. Like, have you got any kind of cool interactions with him, maybe that you could share with us, or just anything like that?
I mean, like, it is extremely cool to see the support. I maybe just take it as like, oh man, pressure's on now. So I always find a way to put myself under more pressure. And I'm like,
to not enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh god, I can't enjoy this. I need to. So, but no, it is really cool, and like to get the support and endorsement of your colleagues is something that I think everybody is striving for. And to get the support of, like you said, some of the legends, even Paul Heyman that you mentioned earlier, and like that's been around for so long, and they've seen so many great wrestlers and performers and entertainers. That means a lot. Austin is always very busy when he comes around, but we always chat a bit, and he's super cool. Like he's like the cool guy that, like, when you see him on TV drinking beer and stunning people, you're like, yeah, man, I wish I could talk to him. Like, that's exactly who he is. And that's the cool part. He is authentic. And that's why people gravitate towards him. That's why they gravitated towards him. That's why they still do. And that's kind of, to me, that's something that people should strive for. And that's definitely something that I would strive for. I would like to be as authentic as I can. And I think that's why that Talking Smack promo resonated with people.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And we talk about you and when you're standing in the company and stuff. Like, down the years, I've enjoyed many different iterations of Cesaro, and typically speaking, they seem to occur in tag teams. Like, you're just that kind of guy. I mean, obviously pre-WWE, we all know what you was up to, Chris, Cassius Ohno and whatnot. But in terms of Tyson Kidd, Sheamus, a lot of different guys that you've meshed well with, even like a Jack Swagger and, Shinsuke, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, and I guess this is a wider conversation because, someone like Dolph Ziggler, and we've spoke before, and he's like, sometimes you're that good at your job that you make other people look good.
Yeah.
And it kind of maybe stops you from getting to the ceiling you think you can get to. Do you think that maybe, like, you having such good chemistry with people and being good in tag teams and just being a good performer, does that almost not prevent you, but you know what I'm saying? It puts you in a role, perhaps.
Maybe. I feel like, a lot of times, squeaky wheel gets the grease, or like you just like overlook the thing that is like closest or most reliable to you because you just like take it kind of for granted. But I also think that just puts a value on it that, like, once you realize it, you realize what you have. You know what I mean? And to me, it's always making the best out of every single situation. And that means, like, I mean, how can you not have fun teaming with Sheamus, Tyson Kidd, Shinsuke, or like Jack Swagger or whoever? It's like, no, you make it fun and you make it memorable and you just do the best. And then, like, that's actually something that Dusty Rhodes told me back in FCW and after. It's like, you build your body of work, right? And that's what you live for. And that's what people will remember. They'll remember everything, right? And I feel that's why people resonated with my Talking Smack promo that you just brought up, or with what I say. It's because it's not just, oh, here's this new guy comes in talking about, like, oh, I'm the hardest worker, or I do this so well, or I do that so well. It's like, no, he has 10, 20 years of proof to back it up that he actually has. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just me telling you. No, it's, you can see it. You know what I mean? And if you can, it's like, that's again like something that, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can see it, you can feel it, like it's authentic. And that's, again, comes to the thing we just talked about. So to me, every opportunity that you get to be on TV, to connect with people in some kind of way, that's a chance, that's an opportunity. And, like, I feel like anytime you have that, you jump on that as much as you can. And then to your point, you put in that role, yes, but that role also creates opportunities down the road, because if they need somebody, to that, like, they were like, okay, we have this slot and we need somebody that just will always make it work. That's when your name comes up, and that's how you stay fresh. That's how you stay in people's minds. That's how you keep getting an opportunity, because you have to build that rapport, and that takes a while. Like, for certain people, they come in, they get their spot, and that's it. But that is the anomaly. Anomaly. There we go. English with Cesaro. That's the anomaly. So
it's all right. You only speak like 6 languages. We'll
I try. So that's not the norm. Haha, I should have just said that. Try to go for the fancy words here on radio, to me, you have to build up that, and you see that with so many people right now as well, that have that body of work that they can look back on. Like, Apollo Crews is coming into his own, and it's awesome to watch. And even Jey Uso is finding his completely new role. That's just absolutely awesome to watch. Roman Reigns, and it's all just so much fun, and I feel like that's important. So yes, you may get typecasted, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I think I completely understand what you mean as well, because you build the equity, right? Like you said,
exactly
the body of work. And, you know, someone like a Kofi Kingston did that, right? And then look at Kofi Mania. Like, I feel, you know, it's Cesaro section and whatnot. Like, that's kind of relatable to you, though. Like, people are waiting. You know, there's definitely a large group of people that are waiting for you to kind of get that chance to shine. And we've had that, even just those small teases, like with you in the Elimination Chamber and, you know, being close to Roman. Mm-hmm. It feels like we're getting closer.
Yes. Yeah. We're getting closer. It takes a bit. We're getting closer. We'll get there. We just have to work harder. So like, that's my thing. And I feel like that's maybe hopefully resonates with a lot of people, especially nowadays. It's like, you just feel like everything is so far away, you know, like it's like with all the stuff that's going down in the lockdown, and it's just like you're at home and it's just Groundhog Day sometimes, but it's like, no, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to be patient and, you know, keep working hard and like reminding ourselves of the fun stuff and the positives, because there's a whole lot of positives. It's just people sometimes, including myself, tend to focus on the negative. So I try to be better at that, you know, focus on the positive and like looking at like, oh, actually, no, this is going well and this is going well as well. So, you know, I'm really enjoying this run going into WrestleMania, and hopefully I get Seth Rollins at Mania, which would be, again, awesome. And yeah, like you said, you built that equity, and then you strike Kofi Mania, right? I mean, that was perfect. And then there's so many others that it just took. Bobby Lashley, you know, it took him 16 years to become champion, and even Drew McIntyre, it took him like 17. So it's like that takes a long time, and then people always think it's overnight. It's not. It's all the grueling hours after, you know.
Yeah, I mean, final question from me. You know, we talk about equity, and you know, we talked about the legends as well and what they think of you and stuff. I guess though, really, the ultimate opinion that matters, of course, is Vince, as we all know. How would you characterize your relationship with him, like through the years, how it's evolved, and you know how it is now?
I mean, you know, it's the same thing. You build equity, right? You build equity. You have to show that you're like reliable, that you can handle whatever gets thrown at you, and then you slowly will become more and more chances. And you know, like you said, some people want that to happen quicker. I really appreciate that, because that means you believe in me. So thank you for that. I'm working on it, and you know, that's the same thing. It's like with everything, you just work on it, and then eventually you will get there. And I believe that I will get there. I believe that we will get there, and it will be awesome when it happens.
I believe, Cesaro. I know how much that means to you, but I believe.
No, that means a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a thrill to have, as I said, European wrestling royalty on TalkSport today, man. And I can't wait. Hopefully, Cesaro and Seth Rollins, man, I can't wait for you to tear it down at WrestleMania in front of fans again as well, man.
Yeah, that would be amazing. You know, I really miss the fans. I really miss the tours. People are always like, oh, so you miss traveling. I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy being at home because I've been on the road so much over the last 10 years, but I miss the fans a lot. I miss going to different places. I miss going to Europe. I miss coming, you know, like touring England, and, you know, it's just like, it's a different connection. You get to see different towns, different cities, you know. It's just like, to me, that was always fun. Like sitting on an airplane or sitting on a bus, you make it fun. It's all what you make of it, you know. Like, now you look back, you're like, oh man, that was awesome. We used to play cards on the buses, you know, driving through England, sitting in like London traffic, and just like laughing about it, you know, just like, it's the stuff that you don't realize that you miss once it's like not there. And I feel like that's why you should appreciate every single thing, because when you don't have it, then you kind of like all of a sudden start missing it. So I miss the fans, and I'm very excited when they come back, and it's going to be glorious to steal a ride off Robert Roode there. So.
Inch it. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, once again, man, thank you so much for stopping by with us. Hopefully we'll do this again soon, maybe in
I hope so.
one day.
I know, right?
But until then, man, I can't wait to see, you know, continue the journey and hopefully see that one-on-one at WrestleMania.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Alex.